Look at that bad boy, yeah, boy. I don't know why I'm breathing like an absolute idiot. It's a bit cold. It's so loud here. Hello, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, drop a little subscribe, like a video, drop a comment. So if you don't know by now, my name's Owen, OB, whatever. And I make cycle vlogs. And also I've just started a 3-minute vlog talking about men's mental health, my experiences in life, and what I'm going to do to change, improve myself. Give that a little like, give that a little watch. They're only 3 minutes. So today we're out on the green and purple Velobuild. I never remember the model number. Maybe I'll get it imprinted somewhere and put it up on screen. I thought today was a good opportunity to talk about Chinese frames, specifically quote unquote cheap Chinese frames. Why I made the decision to buy 3 this year, build 2 bikes. Why you are thinking on it. You clicked on this video clearly to find some information about it. So let's discuss the pros and the cons. Maybe as well the procedure that I think you should do if you're deciding on building one. Is it worth it? Let's find out. So first of all, I'd like to mention that I'm only really reviewing the 2 frames that I've got, or the experiences of the 2 frames that I've got. The majority of the components on both bikes, so my gravel bike, ding, and my road bike, ding. I'm just talking about the frames. Obviously there's no point me turning around saying the wheels are rubbish, because I've got what I would call Western brands on my wheels and other components. So if you're thinking about going down the like full Chinese like sensor Groupset and getting some carbon wheels from any of these companies, Yolio, Velobuild, etc., then maybe watch a different video. Secondly, I'd like to just mention that I'm not sponsored by Velobuild, which is a shame because I bought 3 frames from them this year, so I'm a bit skint. So Chris, if you're watching, please feel free to just stick some stuff in the post. So, starting from the beginning, the ordering process. I've made a video on how I engineered my way around the website, showed you the frame, the first frame that I ordered, which I didn't end up building, but we did make a really nice dream build video. So I'll drop the link in the description for our dream build video. You can watch that. It was good, I liked it. So anyway, I ordered the bike, and obviously the first mistake I made, which is the first mistake I don't want you to make, is geometry and sizing. Okay, there are hosts of websites, geometry geeks .bike maybe, I don't know, again I'll put the link in the description for knowing really good if you need a starting point. So presumably if you're watching this you have a bike of some description, so that's a really good starting point. I suggest if you haven't already, get yourself a bike fit, or if you're happy with your position, find out the geometry of your bike, go on to geometry geeks whatever and type in the model and the year. It will give you a geometry chart. The good thing about Velobuild is they are on said website, which I did not know until I built 2 bikes. So that's always good. I kind of looked, because of the first frame that I bought, it was based on an SL7. I knew the geometry was nearly exactly the same, and that's what led me to buying another frame, this one, in a different size. So I actually went a size down, but I felt like if I went in the SL7 geometry frame a size down, it would have been way too aggressive for me. But who knows, maybe one day I'll get a real carbon one in the post from Chris, wink, and create a video about an out and out Chinese or Velobuild race bike to do some racing on. I don't know why I'm breathing like an absolute idiot. It's a bit cold. My hand's turning into ice as well. I've had to take my glove off to film. Anyway, side note. So yeah, guys, now you've got your, look at that bad boy, yeah, buddy. So guys, now you've got your size and your frame, you've chosen which one you want, you've ordered it, or maybe you're thinking about paint. So I would recommend the custom paint option. It's an extra like, what, $80? This is for Velobuild, obviously. I would recommend the custom paint option. I always spoke with Chris, sent him some detailed pictures of existing bikes or existing colours, or tried to explain the best I could. Chris is always good at coming back, so the customer service at Velobuild is really good. Normally gets back to you within 24 hours. Obviously the time delay, I'm based in the UK, so it's really good. I ordered my first frame on I think the 4th of January. It arrived including painting by the 28th, so like 4 weeks, which is mad. No customs charges for me, luckily. All 3 of the frames that I ordered didn't incur any custom charges, which is really good. Had to go and pick one up from this one actually. Had to go and pick this one up from the like posty depot-y place, which is a bit of a drive and a pain in the bum, but you know, that's not necessarily going to happen to you. So you've received the bike and this packaged really well. I did an unboxing video for when I got my first frame and I was really impressed with how well it arrived. Now's the big thing, what are you going to do with it? Obviously, speaking from experience, I put a Shimano Groupset and I originally put Hyperspace, Loon Hyperspace wheels on my green and purple bike, and I put a SRAM ETAP Groupset on my gravel bike with some Hunt Adventure wheels, as you've seen in the other videos. And I think personally for that you're getting a very good finished article for the money. Those of you, like I said, who are going to put Chinese stuff, or you might have an existing Groupset and some existing wheels, that's absolutely fine, that's going to save you money. That's really what these bikes are all about as well, is saving money. Carbon frames now are like silly expensive. For the Western brands, I say Western brands, a lot of the stuff is made in the similar places that these bikes are made. They're just not finished in the same way, so you're not necessarily going to get A1 condition frames every single time. You might have, you know, you might order 3 frames and they might all be finished slightly differently, which mine are. Some of them have got little blemishes on, some of them needed a little bit more work to, I think they call it reaming, when they level the brake surfaces and stuff, or obviously this is disc brake, so they need to be level so that the calipers sit level, etc, etc. So you need to be aware of that. And I would definitely suggest, if you're one of 2 people, I actually had this discussion yesterday, so my friend is currently building, or like kind of taking apart and rebuilding 80s mountain bikes. They're like super easy to work on, everything's external, cables, etc. You know, V-brakes or the old style brakes, no disc, anything like that. If you're not working with hydraulics and stuff, if you've got a handful of tools, you can do most of that yourself. So that's the A category. If you're used to doing that sort of stuff and you're used to doing more modern stuff that does go through the frame and you've got more tools, you're used to working with hydraulic brakes and you can do a lot of this stuff yourself, awesome, good for you. And I would definitely recommend getting one of these frames and building it up just as an experiment. If you want to use this for like one of these frames for a race bike and you're worried about crashing it or cracking it or anything like that, great option. And then if you're like me and you've got somebody you are somebody with a local bike shop who are happy to work on these Chinese frames, knowing full well that actually they're not great. Like, we had a lot of problems with the first build that I made. A lot of those problems were kind of my fault in some respects. So the problems with the handlebars and stuff that we had, the integrated bar and stem, wasn't the dimensions that I needed. It might be absolutely fine for you. Obviously with this bike or with this frame set, you don't get the handlebars that come with it. So I've chosen to use prime stem with prime aero bars, etc, etc. So hopefully this video will give you lots of information and lots of like kind of, you'll miss out the mistakes that I made. So the $1 million question, or in this case the £450 question, is would I recommend this? Having ridden this frame for nearly 500 miles and the gravel build frame for 250, maybe 300 miles, and spent all this money on doing this. Yes, I've spent a lot of money, so collectively I've spent about £4,000 on these 2 bikes, but that included some really nice wheels. which were like £1,000 on their own. Managed to get a cheap group set, Shimano group set for this bike. Spent a little bit more money on the other one. But the way I look at it is, if I'd gone out and bought like a really top of the range second-hand S-Works, I would have spent exactly the same money. So I've got two bikes for the price of one, two brand new bikes for the price of one. Would I recommend it? Yes. Tip number one, do your research. Tip number two, make sure you've got somebody who can check it over. Either that be yourself, you might be like more than competent as a mechanic, a local bike shop just to check everything over, or somebody that you know and trust to check everything over. Like I said, if you fall into all those categories, I would 100% recommend this. If you've never bought a carbon bike and you've just got that itch and you just think, oh, that would be a really cool project, this is what this bike is, in my opinion, a project. I love this bike. It's really annoying because I've got three bikes at the moment, two road bikes and a gravel bike. And every time I jump on every single one of them, obviously my third bike, you know, the two Velobuilds, my third bike is a specialised tarmac, and I love that bike. I love all three, you know, that one feels really fast, this one feels really smooth. I have got one little issue, maybe two little issues with this bike, and the next video coming next week is my 500-mile review with this bike. Guys, I hope you like this video. I would say do your research and go and buy yourself a Velobuild. Maybe Velobuild's not your cup of tea, but there are other options out there. Obviously, for the price point, I think this is perfect. I've looked at wind space stuff, obviously having the hyperspace wheels, but I think, you know, if you're into your racing and stuff, maybe you're going to look at more of a desired brand, but I think that's another, like, just levels up that little bit. Okay, guys, I'm off for a coffee. If you've got any questions regarding sizing, geometry, or general feel about these two Velobuild bikes, drop a comment below and I'll try my best to answer you. Peace.